Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. And that's exactly what we're doing, waking up to a bucket of rain falling on our heads right now. Hey, but pray for all our brothers and sisters and others who are down there in Florida right now who are really getting walloped by this Hurricane Ian. Just a terrible, terrible scenario that's beginning to work itself out down there. So let's keep our prayers up for all those people. And also our words of encouragement, and that seems to be what we're getting in our epistle lesson, words of encouragement from Paul to Timothy. Now, we've been through this before, but it's important to remember these pastoral epistles, which are 1st and 2nd Timothy and Titus. Just about every scholar who really is serious about studying these letters has said these were not written by the Apostle Paul. These were written much later, after his death. But they're part of what a group of writings called pseudepigrapha, which was a very common way of writing things back then. And the pseudepigrapha were basically works that took the name of a hero, so to speak, a hero of the faith, and used that as their background in order to get a point across to whatever audience they were writing to. In this instance, the letters are going out to groups of Christians who are really beginning to feel the pinch, not from without, but from within. The pinch meaning, there's false teachings that are emerging amongst the people and beginning to infiltrate the churches, and they're leading people astray. And so whoever wrote these letters wrote them using the imagery, if you will, the legacy of the Apostle Paul, to get the point across that, hey, these are the basics of our faith. We need to stay true and faithful to the basics of our faith. And as we saw in 1 Timothy, it got into some nitty-gritty stuff, all the way from just some theological issues about who Jesus is, who he's the Christ, he's the mediator of our faith, and all that kind of stuff, all the way to specifics on how the church, the early church, is to be organized, with presbyters, that would be elders, bishops, deacons, even there was a special category just for widows. Yeah, the widows did things within the church, very specific. So, okay, we have all that going on in 1 Timothy. Now, 2 Timothy kind of leaves that behind, kind of assumes that, hey, we've already been through that. Now it's a very personal letter, a letter of encouragement to Timothy to stay true to the faith. What we have, now I already introduced one term when I said pseudepigrapha, which meant you're writing it as someone that you're not. Okay, so this person, whoever wrote it as the Apostle Paul, but a very, very common type of literature in that area in that day. So don't get all upset about that. That's just the way you wrote things. Like, once upon a time there was 3 little pigs, like those. That's how you would write a fairy tale, or on a dark and stormy night. That's how you would write your mystery novel. No, this is how you wrote different things to people to get your points across. This one is called a hagiography. What? What's a hagiography? Well, hagiography is the story, and in some respects, kind of like the last words of a very famous person. We have hagiographies all through the scriptures. Moses, the book of Deuteronomy is Moses' last speech to the people. Kind of like, okay, get them all fired up and get going. Written in that kind of tone. And we have the same thing going on here in Timothy, where basically Paul is saying, my days are done here, Timothy. I'm getting ready to go, but look at me. Look at everything I've been through. Look what I'm going through right now. I'm in prison. And yet I know who has me in his loving hands. And that's God our Father through Jesus. So hang in there, Timothy. Stay true to the faith. That faith that, hey, your grandmother and your mother, remember what they taught you and how they brought you up, believing in Jesus? Come on, hang true to that faith. We have that all through our reading for the first part of the second letter of Timothy. We're going to be looking at chapter 1, verses 1 through 14, and you have that kind of an encouragement to hold on to what was first taught to you. And why? Because there's a lot of weird and strange teachings that are beginning to come into the church that aren't good. They're not good at all. In fact, they're tearing apart the fabric of our faith. And so what you need to do is hold fast. And most of all, he says this a couple times, I'm not ashamed. You can't be ashamed either of this faith. Stand up for what you believe. It's a very inspirational type of writing. And what we're going to see all through this second letter of Timothy is this kind of talk. It's not so much theological talk, like who is God, how does God operate in the world, this, that, and the other. There's that stuff all in other places, but not in this letter. It's a very personal letter, encouraging Timothy, encouraging you and me to hold fast to the faith that we've been brought up in, that faith that talks about the love of God and how that love of God is manifest in this world through you and through me. So we'll be looking at 2 Timothy this coming Sunday and the next 2 Sundays as well. A beautiful, beautiful letter that gives you and me hope and confidence that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Well, God's blessings be with you, and remember, send your prayers up for the people in Florida, because this is a really rough storm that they have to ride out. And let's pray that God's blessings would be with all those who are bringing help and support to those who need it in that area. And blessings be with you this day.